Unfortunately, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause. Dealing with the condition itself is not enough.
Dear Mr. Massa, I'm just trying to mind my own business. What's the matter? It's just another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke. If you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put two dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coons. The white man will go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights but even human rights.
Amadeus.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Amadeus.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Amadeus.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Amadeus.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations, I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
I'm getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights but even human rights.
Amadeus.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Amadeus.
oppression and exploitation.
Queen.
Touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations. America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all in Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get mad. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat.
This is the sound of Eric Malcolm.
It's a cut on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threat. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X to my jeans and I got...
This is the sound of Famous Fun.
All right, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen QueenAShakur show. I'm your host, Queen QueenAShakur, and this is your Saturday vitamins. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you have not done so already, be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. All right, and if you don't like what the Queen is cooking, you already know what to do. Juju said the Queen of roast. You already know. All right, and so that being said, don't forget to follow me on Instagram at Dr._A_Shakur, also on TikTok at Dr. A Shakur, and Twitter at DGoddess27. Now let's see who's in here. All right, Juju is here, of course. Kenyatta, MTF Gang, DJ Big Six, that Crazy Beach Aries. All right, About Damn Time is here. Okay, Pennywise, Christine, Buckhorse DC. Okay, Amazing Grace, I See You, Edgewater, Conscious Outlaw, Jay Parrish, Root Trackers. All right, let's get into it. All hell no. You Love Ya is here. Mr. Hotel said the only Nancy Drew of journalism, not the other frauds. I know that's right, beloved. Aboriginal Woman is here. Okay, so let's get into it. Everyone get those lights up. Y'all know they have the Queen's Shadow Band. Okay, hey, Miss Cookie. All right, Raw Will is in here. Okay, so, hey, Ray Williams. Battle Axe in the house. Shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuned into the Queen. Now, let's get this party started. Let's get this party started, honey, because y'all know I'm already late as usual, unfortunately. Okay, so first things first, let's talk about this whole bait and switch they tried to pull on us. I want y'all to pay attention because they, first of all, have been toying with us and playing in our faces, like I told you days ago. I also told you at the end of the day, where is this list that they're supposed to be giving us? First of all, they dropped certain names. They say that there is 180. Now they say there's even more, but all they've given us is just a few. Now I want you all to pay attention because this is not Jeffrey Epstein's client list. Okay, that's what it isn't. It's not his client list. And I told you all this. I told you I had over 900 documents. Okay, 900 papers in the documents that contain, the depositions of certain individuals. They also have police reports and things of that nature. So how is this the client list? Now, some of the people have been named in here and there's things about them, but that's not the full list. And I'm quite sure. Now, it's my opinion and belief that many of these names that were in fact on the list have been taken away. And I don't think we're ever going to get these names, to be honest with you. I don't think we're ever going to get these names. But before I dive deep into that, let's first talk about Whoopi Goldberg. Excuse me. I want you all to pay attention because Whoopi Goldberg has come out and said, vehemently denying that she is on Epstein's list because she said there's a fake list going around here. Now, this is what I want y'all to pay attention to. This is where critical thinking skills come into play. Let me just pull this up real quick. She says that her name is not on a list. She doesn't go anywhere. And she basically doesn't want anyone to get it twisted. So that's what we're going to talk about. So let me go to Whoopi Goldberg, to what she said. Because this is about to get fun. Pay attention. Whoopi Goldberg shuts down insane rumors that she went to Jeffrey Epstein's island. I don't go anywhere. Sister Act Star explained that her name had featured on forged images made to look like legal documents circulating online. I find this all interesting, Whoopi. On Thursday, January the 4th, legal documents were released linked to pedophilic Epstein following a judge's order in December. A number of high-profile figures from the entertainment industry were named on that list, including Leonardo DiCaprio, Cameron Diaz, and Cate Blanchett. But while the list included the names of victims, friends, and associates of Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell, many on the list share no direct link to the sex offender, with all three denying any personal involvement with Epstein. Well, of course, they deny it. I mean, if they really were involved in anything nefarious with this man, why would they come out and admit it? Please, it's all so silly. Okay, who do they think they're playing? Now, appearing on panel discussion on the show The View on Thursday to discuss the documents being released, Sister Act star Goldberg shared that her name had been included in images made to look like the court documents circulating online. Let me see if I can find this. Hold on, beloveds. Okay, they had a link here, but that link is obviously broken. Now, addressing the conspiracy theory, folks, this is what she says. Addressing the conspiracy theory, folks, I have to explain because there was a fake list, and I'm on it. The audience laughed while Goldberg's fellow panelist, Sunny Hostin, jokingly asked her, "So you were on the island?" Apparently, I don't know. They said I was on an island, and I'm like, I don't go anywhere. She then clarified, so I'm just going to say, and there's just been a lot of stuff recently. I don't know what I've done to anybody, but apparently there are a lot of sites that are satire sites, but people don't realize that they can be harmful. Now, after shutting down several rumors about herself, including that she got into a fight with Oprah backstage on The View, Goldberg branded gossip culture insane, prompting a discussion with her fellow panelists. Now, at the end, she then brought the conversation back to me, saying, "Don't believe anything unless I tell you about me. You'll know if I'm doing something. I'll let you know. I have nothing to hide. I don't care what people think. If I like doing it, I'm going to let you know." So you don't care. I want you to pay attention. So you don't care what people think, yet you came on your show to make sure that nobody thought. But you don't care what they think, but you wanted to make sure nobody thought that you were on that island. Now, I'm not saying she was on the island. I'm just making a point. So please follow me. Now, she says she doesn't care what people think, but then she goes out of her way to make sure that we all know that she was not on that island because she doesn't want anyone thinking that. And, I don't go anywhere unless I tell you I went somewhere. Okay? We good? No, we're not. Because if anyone's doing something nefarious or committing an act of criminal, activity or whatever, they're not going to tell us or anyone else. And why would they? Now, one celebrity also unimpressed to hear her name mentioned in reference to Epstein's list was, their name on the list was Jimmy Kimmel, who threatened to sue NFL star Aaron Rodgers after he implied the late night host could be named. Now, Kimmel denied any contact whatsoever with the disgraced financier in a statement posted on Twitter, also known as X, while condemning Rodgers' reckless words made during a recent radio interview, saying, "Dear asshole, for the record, I have not met, flown with, visited, or had any contact whatsoever with Epstein, nor will you find my name on any list other than the clearly phony nonsense that soft-brained wackos like yourself can seem to distinguish from reality. Your reckless words put my family in danger. Keep it up and we will debate the facts further in court." Rodgers has yet to respond to Kimmel's comment. Now I want y'all to pay attention. So Jimmy Kimmel, now mind you, I'm not implying that either he or Whoopi are on a list, but I just want you to pay attention to this. Jimmy Kimmel and Whoopi are both talking about fake lists. Why is that interesting? Well, that's interesting to me. I don't know about the rest of you, but that's interesting to me because we've seen lists floating around with people's names on it since when? Maybe 2020? I think that's the first time I saw one. Once in the chat, if you've seen a list ever floating around with the names of certain celebrities and people that we know, because they're household names, if you've seen any of these lists prior to this supposed list that just came out days ago. Once in the chat, could you please? Once in the chat, if you've seen a list with these names on it. Okay, thank you. We all have seen it, most of us anyway. I've seen a list, like I said, I believe the first time I saw one, it was in 2020 or 2021, perhaps. But nonetheless, none of these stars came out and said anything about those lists. How many of you remember any stars coming out and debunking the list or saying anything about it? Because I don't. I'm not saying they did, but I didn't hear any of them saying anything. So I find it interesting that now that this list comes out, now they want to say, oh, there's a fake list. Oh, there's satire sites. Oh, this is dangerous. Those lists have been out. They're all over TikTok. They're all over TikTok. Someone sent me a link the other day, I told you guys, and said, oh, this lady has the list. I said, I don't know if that's the real list or not. It hasn't been, they haven't said it's official. So I don't want to use that because here's the thing. If you use a fake list Or, it could be a real list. I want y'all to pay attention. It could be a real, authentic list. They could tell us it's fake, and who's going to dispute them? Who's going to dispute them? And then if we start sharing that list after this supposed official list has come out, then they could say, well, that's defamation. That's libel. That's slander. Y'all are lying. My name's not on the list, because that's what Whoopi is saying, and that's what Kimmel is saying. Okay, they're talking about satire sites and all that. But what I'm telling you is this. The names that they've given us, no, I absolutely do not believe that is Epstein's client list, because these are simply names that are in court filings, that are in documents, okay, and legal paperwork. How does that equate to a client list? And I'm going to tell y'all something else that I find very nefarious. Please pay attention. Okay, I'm going to be done with Whoopi for the moment. But this is what I want you all to pay attention to. This is what I want you all to pay attention to. Because I asked you all the other day, I said, you mean to tell me that they have a list and they're saying that, they named Donald Trump and a few other people, Bill Clinton and Alan Dershowitz, and they said, well, they didn't say Dershowitz at the time. They said Bill Clinton and Trump. They said there's no proof that they did anything illegal. They said there's no proof that they did anything illegal, right? And I asked you days ago, I said, well, if nobody did anything illegal on the list of names that you've given us, what's the point of putting out those names? Because the people wanted to know who was on the list so the people could get justice for the victims, so that people would be arrested and charged. You see, because if Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell were in fact trafficking people, who were they trafficking them to? That's what we all wanted to know. But here we are. They put out some names and we still don't have any answers. And they're saying that those people didn't do anything illegal. I find that interesting. You know why? I'm so glad you asked. Let's get into it. First of all, let's review some of the court documents. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. 900 and something pages worth of documents. So I'm going to start on page 347. And then we'll go from there and look at a few more of them before we get into what's really going on here, in my opinion, of course. Now, you can see some of these names and things are redacted. I showed you some of this the other day. Okay, this is dated November the 8th, 2005. Now, on November 1st, 2005, I was sentenced. I was contacted. Let me put on my glasses. Hold on. Put on my spectacles. On November 1st, 2005, I was contacted by attorney Gus Fronston, who advised he was willing to assist with the investigation. Attorney Fronston advised he would try to have his client, Jeffrey Epstein, available to be interviewed. I explained I would be interested in conducting an interview with his client as well as other employees that are employed with the house. Now, Attorney Fronston advised that he would return my call once he received confirmation on the interviews. On November the 6th of 2005, I attempted contact with, and the name is redacted, at her residence. I left a business card for her to return my call. Upon returning to the police department, I had received a telephone call from blank. I returned her call at blank and spoke with blank. She made arrangements to respond to the station to provide an interview. At approximately 3:30 p.m., she arrived at the Palm Beach police station with her boyfriend. Her boyfriend was allowed to sit in the lobby area while Miss Blank was interviewed. I took Miss Blank to the Detective Bureau interview room. I closed the door for privacy and explained to her that I appreciated her coming to the police station for the interview. During the sworn tape statement, she advised she was at Jeffrey Epstein's house one time, approximately 2 months ago. She was approached by a girl, Blank, who was dating her roommate to make some quick money. Blank advised that she was in need to get some quick cash to make the rent that month. She agreed to go to the house. She had been told by Blank that the massage would have to be done in her underwear. She advised Blank drove with her and brought her into the house. They walked into the kitchen area and then they took the stairs upstairs. Blank Blank further stated that she was brought into a master bedroom area. She advised she recalled seeing portraits of naked women throughout the room. A massage table was already out near the sauna or shower, the shower area in the master bedroom. Epstein entered the room. Okay, Epstein entered the room wearing only a towel and introduced himself as Jeff. Blank advised she recalled she and Blank removed their clothing down to their panties. Epstein lay on his stomach area and they provided a massage on his legs and feet area. I asked if she had any formal massage training and she replied no. Blank advised she was topless and the panties she wore were the boy shorts lace panties. She and Blank continued the massage until the last 10 minutes of the massage. Epstein told Blank to leave the room so that Blank could finish the massage. Okay, now I'm going to skip past all of this because it gets kind of graphic in detail. Likes up. Everyone please like and share. All of this stuff in here is so nefarious. I want you all to pay attention. Okay, now it says, we searched the main entrance foyer. Now this is another part of the document. I skipped past all of that. Okay, now this is I believe from the police's reports. We searched the main entrance foyer that is in the north of the yellow and blue room. This room contained 2 bamboo chairs and ottomans with cushions. It also contained a round table with numerous books. We searched another blue room that is west of the foyer. This room had a stereo system and bookshelves that were from the floor to the ceiling. Now, taken into evidence from this room were 8 photographs in frames of various women and or Epstein, the owner of the residence. We searched the room to the west of the blue room that has sliding glass doors that led out to the pool. In this room in a dresser were 2 DVDs and 2 VCR tapes. Now, I want you to pay attention. These items were taken into evidence. Now, what do you think was on those DVDs and VCR tapes? But nobody's been arrested because let's not forget Jeffrey Epstein was blackmailing people, okay? And I'm sure there was something nefarious and inappropriate and clearly illegal on those tapes. But let me continue. We searched a 204 black Chevy Suburban bearing Florida tag X99-EGL, registered to Jeffrey Epstein, date of birth January 20th, 53, which was located on the east side of the driveway facing south. I found a thrifty rental agreement between the passenger seat and the middle console. Now, the name of the rental agreement was Johanna Schoberg from 622 Holly Drive, Palm Beach Gardens, Florida, 33410, and phone number on the rental agreement. Okay, now let's go down further because they have Joanna's name on there. Hold on, bear with me because this is a lot of documents. Looking for the part with Alan Dershowitz. Okay, on May 12th of 2006, I met with ASA Lana Belolovec at the state attorney's office. She explained that her boss, Barry Krishner, was requesting this case be taken to the grand jury again. I explained to her I had requested arrest warrants for Jeffrey Epstein, Sarah Kellen, and Hallie Robson. I asked that she either issue the warrants or direct file. So much time has elapsed since the original request to the grand jury. I explained that the Palm Beach Police Department had concluded the case in December of 2005 and has been waiting for the case to go forward. Bello Lafick stated that the original offer was again offered to the new defense attorney. She was waiting for their answer by Friday, May the 19th of 2006. She stated she would advise me of the answer. Now they get down into the exhibits that were presented in court. Now, what I want you to pay attention to, hold on, let me scroll a little bit faster. Now, what I want you to pay attention to, excuse me, is this is not a list. Okay? This is just people giving statements in court and depositions and all of that. How is this a client list? This is a load of BS as far as I'm concerned. They have testimony in here. The proposed depositions are important to the fundamental claims and defenses in this case, and none are duplicative. Now let's look at this page here. This is page 527. Second, if Miss Giuffre's is denied these depositions, she will not have had the opportunity to obtain the information by other discovery in the case. The court will recall from Ms. Giuffre's opening motion that defendant's surprising lack of memory has in no small part caused the need for additional deposition. Now, then it goes on to say, defendant offers no explanation of her convenient forgetfulness. Moreover, evidence of being recruited by defendant and being sexually assaulted is not something Ms. Giuffre can obtain through request for production or through interrogation. Now, the only way of obtaining such evidence is from witness testimony by those who were victimized, those who assisted defendant in recruiting and abuse, and those who observed the recruiting or the abuse. For example, Ronaldo Rizzo, an estate manager for a friend of defendant Epstein's, testified about an episode where defendant had threatened a terrified 15-year-old girl had threatened a terrified 15-year-old girl and confiscated her passport to try to make her have sex with Epstein on his private island. Rizzo testified about another episode where defendant gave instruction to and presided over a group of 11 girls. Some as young as 14 years old played a kissing game with and for Jeffrey Epstein. Finally, the defendant appears to be concealing critical evidence of the sexual abuse that other witnesses have testified she possesses. Now you can see they have this entire line redacted. Okay, that whole line is blacked out. Document discovery and interrogatories are not helpful in obtaining this type of evidence. Depositions are needed. Third, the burden and expense of this proposed discovery is limited to 3 additional depositions. Defendant in this case is a multimillionaire with able counsel. 3 depositions will not cause her undue burden, expense, or inconvenience. These depositions are important to resolving issues in this case. Now, given that very few witnesses reside within 100 miles of the courthouse and therefore cannot be compelled to trial, this request for only 3 additional depositions is a reasonable request. Okay, so I'm going to stop right here. My whole point is, this is nothing more, like I told you, court documents. Some of these names mentioned in here, well, some of them witnessed some of these acts that occurred. Some of them participated. But where are the list of these people who were actively going and paying to have inappropriate relationships with these young girls? here it says, how old was this girl? The answer is 15 years old. What did she say? And she proceeds to tell my wife and I that and this is not, that and this is not. This is blurted out, not a conversation like I'm having a casual conversation, but quickly, I was on an island. I was on the island and there was Ghislaine, there was Sarah. And she said, they asked me for sex. I said, no. And she says, no. And she says, Ghislaine took my passport. And I said, what? And she says, Sarah took her passport and phone and gave it to Ghislaine Maxwell. And at that point, she said that she was threatened. And I said, threatened? She says, yes, I was threatened by Ghislaine not to discuss this. And she said that before she got there, she was threatened again by Jeffrey and Ghislaine and not to talk about what I mentioned earlier. Again, the word she used was sex. And during this time that you're saying she is rambling, is her demeanor continues to be what you described it? Yes. Was she in fear? Yes. So here's the thing. I just want you all to pay attention to how they're covering themselves. They're covering themselves. I want you to pay attention because here's the bottom line. Now, the people that they're questioning during these depositions, the people who are saying that they were witnesses and they talked to some of these girls, well, didn't they tell us that these people will be included in the list? But why do we need those people's names? All we want are the people who are paying to have inappropriate relationships with these young girls at the end of the day. And how come nobody was arrested? Now, I told you they had DVDs and VCR tapes found in Epstein's house. Another thing that's important is this investigation started in 2005. Now, for those of you that saw the Netflix special about all of this, you'll know that it started years ago. So why is this just coming out now with them talking about a list? How come nobody still has been arrested other than Jeffrey and Ghislaine Maxwell? Where are the clients and why haven't they been arrested? But hold on, because wait, there's more. Now I want you all to see this. I want you all to see this. This is what was inside of Epstein's house. Because, you know, for one, there was a safe. There was a safe that was supposedly full of DVDs and video recordings and all of that. Okay. Now, this was supposedly found at Epstein's house, but then it went missing. But hold on, before I get into that, let's look at this. I'm going to share my screen so you all can see this. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Take a look inside Jeffrey Epstein's creepy Manhattan lair. Now, let's look at this.
I've been living outside for 4.
Now, I want you all to pay attention. I want you all to pay attention. Now, you all saw all of those DVDs. You saw all of those recordings all boxed up. You saw that stuff all over the room, right? You all saw that. And what did it say was on there? Okay. Kitty Horn without the H and substituted for something else. You saw that, right? So Claudette said that's why they deleted him. I believe so. Now, here's the thing. First of all, they had that evidence. Now, who do you think is on those tapes? Who's on those recordings doing these inappropriate things? You don't think that Jeffrey Epstein's the only one in all of those videos, do you? Because at the end of the day, who else is on there? See, they know who's on there. They know exactly who's on there. And at the end of the day, how come that information hasn't been divulged? Well, they did come out and say that the videotapes came up missing, but hold on. The cache of images released as part of Maxwell's federal sex trafficking trial revealed that FBI agents and the NYPD discovered when they raided the dead pedo's home, or his 7-story Upper East Side home in July of 2019, around the time of his arrest. They say Special Agent Kelly McGuire testified that her team forced entry into 9E 71st Street on July the 6th, 2019, after no one answered the door. And then they swept through 40 rooms where creepy taxidermy animals and a bizarre painting of Bill Clinton and a blue dress were all on display. Okay, you all remember I showed you that picture. It was all nefarious. Now, in an office near the front of the 19,000 square foot home, authorities uncovered several plastic bins that contained hard drives. What's on them hard drives? How come they're not talking about that? How come that information hasn't been divulged? Already covered in evidence tape. This is what McGuire told the court. Details of the bookshelf in Epstein's home show his face on a massage figurine. Now, as you sit here today, do you have personal knowledge of why there was evidence tape on these boxes? This is what Assistant U.S. Attorney Allison Moe asked, and McGuire replied, no. On the 3rd floor, inside what looked like a dressing room, the agents found a safe stashed inside a closet, which they opened using a saw. And here's a picture of the safe right here. In 2021, I believe that's when they said it all of a sudden came up missing. How does a whole safe come up missing that you've taken into evidence? There it is right there. Found in a closet. Now they say the safe contained jewelry, external hard drives, passports, lots of cash, and loose diamonds. This is what an agent testified to. There were also binders filled with CDs, but authorities had to get another warrant in order to seize them. When they returned the next day, all the items in the safe had disappeared. First of all, my question is, why did they need to get another warrant? Why did they need a whole separate warrant for that? But anyway, McGuire said, because here's the thing. Here's the thing. This is all real crazy because, and I just want you all to pay attention. See, this doesn't make any sense because they got the safe open, pay attention, with a saw. They sawed it open. So you mean to tell me that they could saw it open, take a look-see and see what's in there, but they can't confiscate it? Well, if they couldn't confiscate it, why did they saw it open? That doesn't make any sense. Now, here's the thing. At least it doesn't make sense to me. So they said when they left and came back the next day, it was gone. Well, first of all, if someone has something that has illegal or some type of information that can get them into trouble, and you've already come and raided their house, and they already know that you've been looking at this stuff, and now you're going and you think you're going to come back and get a warrant, of course it's going to be gone. Of course it's going to be gone. So my question is, why did they need another warrant for one? But for two, how come they didn't just take photographs of it? How come they didn't take photographs of everything in there? How come they didn't take the hard drives, at least? I have questions. So McGuire said that he called Richard Kahn, now the co-executor of Epstein's estate, and Kahn's attorney at the time, Andrew Tomback, and told them that she had a warrant for the items. Roughly 30 minutes later, Kahn brought them all back in 2 suitcases, according to the agent's testimony. Now, court papers filed in Epstein's child trafficking case said some of the CDs contained Kitty, torn without the T and add another letter, okay, with handwritten labels, including the following. They had handwritten labels on it. It said young, and then it had a name plus another name, okay? And then it had miscellaneous, and it had nudes, number 1, girls pics, number 1. This is what it had on there. Now, goes on to say, also in the 3rd floor, agents came across a massage room with heavy dark or heavy pink curtains and a massage table covered in a blanket and a white sheet. More CDs were found inside a room on the 5th floor. Now, in the bottom drawer of a dresser is where they found this stuff. In the same room, agents discovered a cache of labeled black binders filled with pages of thumbnail photographs that corresponded to the CDs. And here they go right here. I mean, this stuff was carefully and methodically organized. The black binders containing part of an extensive CD collection. Now, it says FBI analyst Kimberly Meter, who went through all the photos, testified that some of the photos were of Epstein and Maxwell together, including one of her in a skimpy top rubbing his feet aboard a plane. One framed photo of the twosome smooching was found by Palm Beach police inside Epstein's sprawling home there during a 2005 raid, according to photos of the operation submitted as evidence. Now, it goes on to say, developer Todd Michael Glacier bought Epstein's sprawling property for $18.5 million in March, and the home was later demolished. So why would somebody spend all of that money on it and then have it demolished? I just want y'all to pay attention. Now, the neoclassical townhouse in Manhattan sold for $51 million to former Goldman Sachs executive Michael D. Daffy, who has said he is undertaking a physical and spiritual rehabilitation of the mansion. Y'all don't find that interesting that the place was demolished? Y'all don't find that interesting? The person who brought it, I wonder if their name was on anything. I find it all very interesting. We're living in low vibrations, says Miss Cookie. At the end of the day, here's the thing. Now, for one, has anybody bothered to go out there to Epstein's Island and start digging? I think they should go out there to Epstein's Island and start digging. That's what they need to do. Hold on. Now, here's what they say. Unsealed court documents reveal names of men allegedly linked to Jeffrey Epstein. New documents reveal the names of high-profile men who associated with the financier and convicted sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein before he took his life in a federal prison in 2019. Now, Leila Fidel. This is from Leila Fidel. This is a transcript. A federal judge in Manhattan released a trove of documents yesterday, naming for the first time dozens of powerful men who allegedly had ties to the convicted trafficker offender Jeffrey Epstein prior to his death in 2019. Now, they include politicians such as Bill Clinton and Donald Trump, the actor Kevin Spacey, and magician David Copperfield, among many others. Now, to be clear, the fact that these men, just keep listening, the fact that these men are named doesn't mean they did anything wrong or face criminal allegations. Like I told y'all days ago, these documents also include testimony and eyewitness accounts that claim to paint a more detailed portrait of Epstein's secret world, a world where women were allegedly exploited, sexually assaulted, and draped without the D. So these documents compiled as part of a civil case show that Epstein, a registered sex offender, continued to move for years in elite circles associated with people like Prince Andrew, you know, the prominent attorney, Alan Dershowitz, the musician Michael Jackson is named, a former U.S. senator from Maine, believed to be George Mitchell, also former Israel Prime Minister Ehud Barak. And as you mentioned, Donald Trump, and also, or as we mentioned, Donald Trump, and also former Vice President Al Gore. Former President Bill Clinton's name comes up frequently in these documents. And again, being named here doesn't reflect wrongdoing. Most of these people, including Clinton, have said they have no awareness of Epstein's alleged crimes. But the documents also include repeated claims that these social gatherings of the powerful men included young women, some of them even minors, arranged by Epstein and by his accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, Maxwell, of course, is now serving a 20-year prison term on federal sex trafficking charges linked to her working for Epstein. Now, so Epstein hosted people for these really lavish gatherings at his homes in New York and Palm Springs and at his mansion on a private island in the Virgin Islands. Though there are hundreds of pages where Leela of previously redacted depositions from Ghislaine Maxwell and others employed by Epstein that offer really salacious details of conversations where powerful men allegedly express interest in young women. One witness claims Britain's Prince Andrew groped her breast. There are also police records here in these documents detailing investigations into Epstein after young women claim to have been coerced into relationships and acts of prostitution. Now, over the years, dozens of women have come forward claiming Epstein sexually assaulted and exploited and even draped without them. Some say they were minors when these alleged crimes happened. Epstein took his own life in prison while awaiting trial for his crimes. And so the bottom line is this. This is what I want y'all to pay. This is nothing but a whole fraud. You see, all of this stuff that they're saying now, we already knew. You see, we already knew because this stuff was in Epstein's trial. We already knew what was going on with all of this stuff. We already knew about Bill Clinton and Trump's names having some sort of association with him. Let's not forget that I told you guys. Here's the thing. Now I just thought about something. This is what I find interesting. So what's that guy's name? Donald Burkle. Remember Donald Burkle that's supposed to be Diddy's sugar daddy? Allegedly. You all remember I did the video about him and I did a TikTok. Okay. Now this man, his name was on Epstein's address book. It was in his address book. How come his name's not on the list? How come his name's not on the list? You know the man that they say is the supermarket, what do they call him? He owns all these supermarkets. They called him something. I forget the term they call him. But nonetheless, you all know who I'm talking about. Donald Burkle. Now his name, as I showed you all when I did the story about him and Diddy, his name was in Epstein's address book. So I'm sorry, his name's not on the list. Well, no, because this isn't the list. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is the fact, Miss Cookie said, good point, Queen, thank you. Another thing I want you to pay attention to is the fact that Whoopi and Jimmy Kimmel are talking about fake lists. The list that they're talking about is not this list, not the one that I showed you days ago. They're talking about these other lists floating around. Now, if those lists are really fake, and they might be, how come they're just now saying something about that list? How come they're just now saying something about that list? I have questions. Okay? They wouldn't have been said this was a fake list. They didn't know that their names were on there prior. They never saw it. They never heard about it until now. Now, all of a sudden, when this supposed list comes out, I want you to pay attention. Now, oh, they're coming out of the woodwork. Oh, that's fake. My name's not on there. That's a fake list. I don't know this man. I never go anywhere. My name's not on a list. That's what they say. Now, I'm not saying that their names are on there or that they did go to the island. But what I'm saying is, how come they're just now saying something about all those lists that have been floating around here? That list has been floating around here. We all saw it. They had Barack Obama's name on there. They had Oprah's name on there. They had Jay-Z's name on there, Beyonce, Chris Tucker. They had a whole bunch of names. Now, I'm not saying these people went to the island or even knew Jeffrey Epstein. I'm not even saying that this is an actual list, a real list, authentic list. But I'm saying that list with those names had already been out there. for a couple of years at least. So how come nobody said anything then? How come when that list was out in the first place, none of these celebrities came out and said, hey, that's a fake list? Anybody care to venture a guess? Anybody care to venture a guess? Because it looks to me like now people want to say that there's fake lists out because this list that we're looking at or that we looked at the other day has come out. And this is supposed to be the real list. So now they can just call that one fake. But at the end of the day, Alec Baldwin, Phil Collins, you all are saying, yes, they had a whole bunch of people on there. Okay, a whole bunch of people. I mean, it was an alphabetical order at the end of the day. Bill and Hillary were on there. So I have questions. OG Patrice said, don't you find that suspicious? Yes, absolutely. All right. Now, this is all crazy. And then, as I showed you the video the other day with Alan Dershowitz, who is Epstein's attorney, by the way, and also his friend, talking about he wished that he never met Epstein, and that he didn't have anything to do with anything that was inappropriate or whatever. Said he didn't have anything to do with anything sketchy or any of that stuff. He just went and got a couple of massages every now and then. Massages from young girls that are minors, perhaps, because that's what Epstein was doing. And then some. Okay? And then some. I find it all very interesting. Like I said, this is nothing but just bait and switch, just to make us think that they're putting out information. And see, they have to throw us a bone. They have to throw us a bone. Okay? They got to give us something so we'll sit back and say, hey, this is what's going on here. They got to give us something salacious. So they got to give us Donald Trump, Bill Clinton, Michael Jackson. I find that all interesting because here's the thing. They said Michael Jackson was introduced to Epstein by Rabbi Shmuley. That's what I found out. This is what they say. But here's the thing. Someone sent me this when I did that video going in about Michael Jackson's name being on that list. And here's what someone sent me. Let me pull this up. I don't know if this is true or not, but I'm just telling you what someone sent me. They said, Michael Jackson was never associated with Jeffrey Epstein. They met in 2002 solely for business and financial matters, and it didn't work out through Samuel Ginn, attorney for James Miskin, MJ's short-lived financial advisor. Their collaboration ended on bad terms. And then they sent me, I guess this was their receipt. Let me share my screen so you all can see this. You all see this? This is what somebody put on my post when I did that TikTok video, and I posted it on Twitter. And I'm like, how's Michael Jackson's name on there? Okay. And this is their receipt right here, I guess. This right here, it had Michael Jackson's name, and then it had the other person. Hold on, what they said his name was? Samuel Ginn, attorney for James Miskin. And they had the address and phone number and all of that on there. All right, so that's what they sent me. So I find that all interesting. But hold on. The latest documents have some interesting information. Yeah, some of it definitely was interesting. Now they say Rabbi Shmuley being involved in the introduction of Michael Jackson to Epstein, to Bill Clinton, according to Epstein, liking them and referring to young girls. I think I told you all this the other day. But my thing is, the FBI has countless videos. And I believe on those videos, there is some footage of some very powerful people doing things of which they have no business with some of these girls. That's what I believe. And my question is, again, how come no arrests are being made? How come no charges are being pressed? How come we're simply being told that the people's names that they put on that list doesn't mean that they've done anything illegal? that there was any criminal activity involved. I have questions. I absolutely have questions. But now let's talk about Katt Williams and Diddy, because I absolutely think that Diddy, I told y'all after I found out about him trying to holler at my son, honey, trying to get my son to that hotel. Let me tell y'all something. For a so-called party, yeah, I have a whole lot of things I'm going to go in about Diddy about. We're going to start today with the fact that I do believe that Diddy was trying to set Katt Williams up. How could he have possibly been trying to set Katt Williams up? Queen, could you please explain? Well, I'm so glad you asked, because we're about to get into it. We're about to get into it. Please pay attention. Now, here we go. First things first. Hold on. Let me just check something real quick, beloveds. Hold on to your seatbelts. Okay. So you remember, I love you, right, Black Reggie? And so David said, this is getting weird, honey. It's been weird as far as I'm concerned, beloved. Now, hold on. You all remember, those of you who are my day ones, you remember that I was doing story after story on that sex cult called NXIVM, that the actress from the show Smallville, Allison Mack, was involved in. Okay, Keith Rainier. So hold on, we're going to talk about that because this pertains to something I'm going to show you. Okay, so let's talk about it. I got my receipts. Hold on. Now, when they had this cult going on, some of the victims and some of the members, when they testified in court and they gave statements to the police, they talked about being blackmailed. Just like we know Jeffrey Epstein was blackmailing people. Now, what do you think Jeffrey Epstein was blackmailing people with? I'm pretty sure it was video recordings. Video recordings of what? Them engaging in nefarious activities of which were illegal. And also, if you recall, some of R. Kelly's victims said the same thing. How many of you remember that? Once in the chat. How many of you remember that some of R. Kelly's victims said that they were forced to participate in certain things, like participate in the stuff that R. Kelly was doing with other girls in the house, and he would record them to hold it over their heads? Once in the chat, if you all remember that. King Lejean said, yes, connect those dots. All right. Okay, so with that all being said, we've heard this stuff before, okay? How people have video recordings of people, and then they'll use that to get them to do what they want. Or if you join some sort of cult or nefarious organization, and then you want to leave, well, just to make sure you don't go running your mouth now that you're no longer part of it, just to make sure you don't go run into the police and try to snitch on everybody else about any type of criminal activities they may be engaging in. Well, they have these videos of you doing things that you don't have any business doing. And so you'll know that if you go and say anything to anyone, these videos can be leaked and you'll be in just as much trouble as them. Or you'll be embarrassed and humiliated. So one of the women from NXIVM said that she was told that she had to gather dirt on her own family members. One of them also said that they had to perform inappropriate acts with someone who was underage, and it was recorded so that Rainier could have this over her head for blackmailing purposes. Another thing that he did is he would brand them. So let's talk about it. The daughter of Dynasty sitcom star Catherine Oxenberg is the latest to share her horrific experience at the hands of the NXIVM cult. The group styles itself as a self-help program focused on business success and female empowerment. Okay, they acted like this was for women's empowerment and mentorship. But former members say it is a pyramid scheme where women were coerced into abusive relationships, branded, forced into doing unpaid labor, blackmailed, and served as sex slaves to their master, including the group's former leader, Keith Rainier. One person says, what I thought I was learning was self-help and personal growth. This is what India Oxenberg, who was 29 at the time, said. What I was learning was the opposite. It was inhumane. Now, Oxenberg first joined the group in 2011 when she was 22. Over the course of 7 years, she said she was progressively blackmailed and also cut off from her family and groomed to be a whole sex slave in Rainier's inner circle. Eventually, she says she was branded with his initials and draped by him. Remove the D. Rainier maintains that his relationships were consensual. When you're unaware, it's so easy to be led astray, especially by people who are masters at manipulation. And these people were that. This is what Ms. Oxenberg said in an interview, especially Keith Rainier. He's a master at manipulation. If there's one thing he's intelligent at, it's that. He's a predator. Now, just pay attention because they talk about blackmail, which is clearly what was going on. But also, they talked about being told to make fake blackmail tapes where they would have to basically, let me pull this up so you all can hear it. Okay, I'm not going to show this on the screen, but so you all can hear this. Because they actually talked about being forced to make fake blackmail tapes for their family members. Likes up, everyone, please like and share. Thank you in advance. Here it is right here.
There came a point where we didn't even know what to submit as collateral anymore. So Allison or the higher ranking members of DOS would just tell us to just make shit up and send it. For instance, you might have to make a video accusing your father of molesting you, even if it wasn't real. It was often worse because it could be even more damaging than the things that you said that were real.
Okay, you all heard that? You all heard that? She said that they were sometimes told to make a video accusing their own father of molesting them. And see, this was a form of blackmail because you see, if they went and snitched on Keith Rainier or told of any of the things that were going on in the cult, well, then they were in fear that their father could be arrested and charged with molestation. And basically, he could be humiliated and all of that. Even if the statute of limitations had passed, well, they could say all sorts of things. Now, this was done to keep them from talking because they know that some of these people would be more concerned about their family members getting into trouble than they themselves. So that's what they did. So just pay attention because video footage, okay, video footage used for blackmail. R. Kelly, video footage used for blackmail. When those tapes and stuff were confiscated, R. Kelly, some of those victims said that R. Kelly made them do inappropriate things and participate in some of the stuff that he was in fact doing to them and others so that they couldn't go and tell because they'd be in trouble too. They'd be held just as accountable. That's what he wanted them to think. He used that as part of his manipulation tactics. Now, with that all being said, let's talk about what Katt Williams says about Diddy. I'm going to show this clip again. I showed this to you yesterday, but just pay attention.
I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did. I did. See, I got the receipts for everything I'm telling you. That's why I can say them so freely.
Ted, I need another one. You here, get your number.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Come on.
Because early on you was accusing me of being...
Katt, man.
Okay, now you all heard that, right? Now watch this. Because I already showed you this before. Hold on. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. Now, we're going to look at this again because I've shown this to you a couple of times before. Please pay attention.
Dress at all. You can interrogate me with torture, nigga. I won't confess at all. I'll just keep on crying, keep on sobbing. Ask me any question, my head will keep on popping. You think I'm saying yes for the first few seconds till you realize I'm in my own world thinking of your girl naked. Fuck you niggas. I'm a federal nightmare. I'm a small motherfucker who ain't scared, won't fight fair. Shit. So if you want to make me a motherfucking martyr, do what you gotta do. Bitch nigga starter. Huh. What's happening, Puff? I'll be back to you if JD ain't had enough. Yeah? Jermaine Dupri, king of the pedophiles, if you ask me, baby. Shit. Jermaine Dupri, small as a child. If I was fucking Janet, she'd already have a child. If I was fucking your bitch, she'd have a permanent smile. I'm a real G, nigga. I got permanent style. Shit. I don't fuck with you fuck faces. You grown ass niggas with gap teeth that need braces. Fucking rappers with hairlines. They're gonna fuck with me and try to compare lines. Just meet me somewhere, nigga. Let's compare minds. I mean, let's go somewhere and compare nines. Shit. Fucking with Katt. It ain't my fucking fault you ain't visit the brat. Huh? Nigga, you should visit a Gap. Nah. I'm fucked up for even mentioning it. Shit, but you ain't have to go and visit. It ain't a crime to put some money on a bitch's books, is it? Shit. I put 20 G's on my girl. And what you do in your platinum ass world? Huh? Probably ain't do shit. Probably ain't busy. Probably ain't right. Probably ain't do no remix or think about her at night. But that's my nickel. And if she hit a bitch, she read about all that. That's what it is. She handle her biz. And if she gotta do a motherfucking biz, she can count on me like I'm a motherfucking kid. And don't you start talking about I motherfucking did. Huh? What have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. JD. Boom. What have you done for me lately? Ooh, yeah. And Steve Harvey, I heard about your book. I'm proud of your success, but bitch nigga, look. Better stop telling people their motherfucking lies before you be somewhere and meet one of my motherfucking guys. You see, when I'm around, them niggas is polite, gentlemen. Niggas be alone. They be all hyped up on Ritalin. And if I ain't there to hold them back, them niggas be anxious to get it in. And they be wearing stuff over their face so they don't show the cameras who's hitting them. You don't want to fucking play football with me, bitch Harvey. I'm blitzing. And I ain't gotta call no plays when I audible. I say, get it to him. And you'll be laying there on your backside. They call it a concussion, but for you to just feel like, get in them. And I'll be standing over your body, pulling off your helmet, telling these niggas, get his limbs. You ain't got to worry about what's going to happen next. As you blacking out, the last thing you'll hear is, get his Tim. And if you wake up 5 minutes later, the thing you'll hear is, get his rims. And I know that.
Okay, so with that all being said, now I wanted you all to see that, because here's the thing. Now, he was clearly going in on Diddy and Jermaine Dupri in that video. And calling Jermaine Dupri, we all heard what he was calling him. So who else does Katt know and have information on? That's what we should be asking ourselves. We already know that he's exposing people left and right. He's been doing this for years, calling people out. So for Diddy to offer him, because Katt said he had to turn down $50 million 4 times. And he said that when Diddy comes at you, you just have to tell him no, because he likes to party, right? So he likes to party. So is Diddy the only one offering him money? Because if they're having these parties, I want you to pay attention. Remember I showed you, I played the audio of Ali Vegas maybe a week or so ago, talking about those parties that they have, talking about how his cousin went to one of those parties when he signed a modeling contract for $6 million, and how Tyson Beckford told him allegedly that this could change his life, and how once his cousin found out what goes on at those parties, his cousin didn't want anything to do with it, and he didn't want to sign that contract, and he left and moved to Saudi Arabia. Remember that? Remember that? Remember what Katt Williams said about Harvey Weinstein? Remember him mentioning Harvey Weinstein wanting to do things to him? So I want you to think about it. Now, who was going to be at these parties that Diddy was inviting Katt to? And who was offering Katt $50 million? And they did this 4 times. You see, here's the thing. They were likely offering Katt $50 million because they wanted him to engage in some sort of acts. Pay attention. Like Harvey Weinstein asking him, can he do certain things? The same thing that we heard that Christopher Williams was made to do, allegedly, to Diddy. This is what Jaguar Wright said. But so think about it. Perhaps they wanted him to engage in something nefarious so that they could record it on video and then blackmail him later. And then he couldn't say anything about any of them. He just had to be quiet unless he wanted that to get out. You see, that's what happens in these sorts of scenarios, because think about it. This is what Keith Rainier did to the women in Nexium. This is what R. Kelly did to some of his victims. This is a common practice. You see, you get someone doing something inappropriate. This is what Jeffrey Epstein, this is likely what he was using to blackmail people. Of course it was. There's no telling what all sorts of nefariousness are on those videotapes that we'll never see. We'll never even hear about. So with that all being said, y'all don't think Diddy was trying to set Katt up? Of course he was. Because why would he be even trying to invite Katt anywhere? I know he saw that video. That video is old. It's like 10 or 12 years old. That video is like 10 or 12 years old. Conscious Outlaw said exactly. Okay? I just want y'all to pay attention. You say you have to put on your critical thinking skills to start piecing the things of this together. Putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. At the end of the day, that's likely why Diddy was inviting him to parties. It was a whole setup, in my opinion. Let me say allegedly. I think it was a whole setup. Because somebody like Katt Williams, who's a live wire, who doesn't mind saying whatever he wants to say, they can't shut him up. They can't control him. They can't control him because he's not a part of their groups. He works independently. He doesn't fit in with them. He's not hanging out with them. He's not a gatekeeper. He doesn't have a handler. They have absolutely no control over him. Just like they had no control over Kanye. And when they don't have control over you, what do they want to do? Well, they want to silence you so you can shut up, so you can stop talking, so you can stop telling things that they don't want told, so you can stop exposing people who don't want to be exposed. Let's invite him to a party, Diddy. And when we get him there, we'll offer him $50 million. Of course, he'll take it. Who wouldn't? That's how that probably went. Okay? Right, Claudette says, and label you crazy. Well, of course. They've been trying to tell us that Katt Williams was crazy for years. They've been trying to tell us that he's been on drugs for years and acting erratically. That's what they've been doing. I want y'all to pay attention. Okay? Because listen, now we all know that nobody, I don't care how much money you have, no one is going to just offer someone $50 million just to have relations with them. They're not going to offer you that kind of money just to have relations. No. There has to be a bigger picture, something much more sinister and nefarious for them asking you to do that and offer you that amount of money. Because, hey, $50 million, well, if Katt had taken it, that could have made a whole lot of their problems go away real quick. Because now he ain't going to tell nothing. He wouldn't be exposing anyone. So that's what my whole point is. And I want you all to pay attention. Now, hold on. Let's talk about the second batch of the list that they're talking about. Jeffrey Epstein list, second batch of documents unsealed in Ghislaine Maxwell suit. Second batch of Epstein files released after federal judge's December 18th order. Let's check this out. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Thank you in advance. More BS, I'm sure.
And they could be made public at any moment. We are now awaiting the next release of previously redacted court documents relating to late pedophile Jeffrey Epstein, and they could be made public at any moment. Last night's highly anticipated document dump revealed the names of some 150 people with ties to Epstein and his lover-turned-accomplice, Ghislaine Maxwell. Hello, everyone. This is Outnumbered. I'm Emily Campagno, here with my co-hosts, Kaylee McEnany and Harris Faulkner. And also joining us today, Fox News contributor and board-certified physician, Dr. Nicole Saphier, and host of the Ben Ferguson podcast and co-host of Verdict with Ted Cruz podcast, Ben Ferguson. Now, these newly unveiled documents date back to a 2015 lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell, who is now serving a 20-year sentence for recruiting and trafficking Epstein's female victims. One of the most mentioned names in those documents was that of former President Bill Clinton. He's brought up 50 times in total, and in one instance, accuser Joanna Schoberg claims Epstein told her that Clinton, quote, likes them young, referring to girls. Former President Donald Trump is also named. Schoberg claimed that Epstein took her to Trump's casino in Atlantic City. Neither former president is accused of any wrongdoing. Schoberg also describes Britain's Prince Andrew of inappropriately groping her breasts during a picture with fellow accuser Virginia Giuffre, and she claims the prince had group sex with minors. Prince Andrew has previously denied all wrongdoing, and he settled a sexual assault case brought by Giuffre earlier last year. Harris, so much that emerged in these documents.
Oh, yeah.
And people were expecting quite a bit. The judge, in her statements to approve the release of these documents, sort of warned, I think, the public and said, frankly, most of this you already know. Mm-hmm. There isn't some type of huge surprise. This will simply underscore what you've already heard, what we've already had alleged in these prior court documents. But she said, and this was what I found so notable, she said, no defendant that argues that it would be public humiliation or on the grounds of professional reputation destroying, will that be grounds enough to approve maintaining the names under wraps? That was not enough.
Right, because how would you say that a former president can be named, but I can't? Like, well, who would you be? Mm-hmm. What I think is specifically interesting about the developments now, Nate Foy just a few minutes ago reported that we don't even know everybody yet on this list, but they know. They know who they are. And, you know, I think it's contagious. I've been around Emily for a little while, so I sometimes feel like an attorney. But she's the one with all the skills. So what's also critical that I notice, isn't that a way to get to people to tell you something about the others?
Yes.
Right? You know, maybe you can kind of keep your names under wraps if you can offer up some information. This is an investigation. This is a case, too. There were minors involved. Those people are not being unmasked. But it doesn't mean, the list doesn't say no one committed any wrongdoing or crime. It says most didn't. Now, is that most of the ones we know or most of the ones who still are on the list that we don't know? The drip, I would imagine legally is useful and personally would be painful for the people on the list.
That's right. And I think, Kaylee, that Harris hit the nail on the head with her drip comment, because to me, this is the tip of the iceberg. The whole point of this, the 150-page initial lawsuit brought by Virginia Giuffre, is that there is no shortage of information and horrible, credible allegations against hundreds of individuals yet to be named, yet to be discovered. So this is just one more step in probably a lengthy process.
Yeah, this is a case of high-profile, hubristic men who decided to prey on young women, vulnerable women. These were women, some of whom were homeless, some of whom were on drugs, many of whom had bad home lives, and so much is being made of the men and the names. But my head and my heart immediately goes to these women. Virginia Giuffre, who you bring up, a minor. I was reading through her deposition, and she gets to a point, they're pressing her for names and pressing her for names. And you can imagine when you've been through trauma, you can't remember every name. She burned the book in which she had written down the names. And she finally gets to the point where she tells the prosecutors, look, I've given you what I know right now. I'm sorry. This is very hard for me, very frustrating to go through this. I don't recall all of the people. There was a large amount of people I was sent to. Imagine being a young, vulnerable woman and you are sent to men, high-profile men, many of whose names you know, to be preyed upon. And just want to quickly review the miscarriage of justice in this. In 2006, Jeffrey Epstein finally was brought to a little bit of justice, but what was that justice? County jail for a few months. County jail is what he got. Finally, 11 years later, you have a Miami Herald reporter, we should say her name, Julie K. Brown, who digs this up, does the digging, because every time she Googled sexual trafficking in Florida, his name came up. We are here today because of a reporter at the Miami Herald. Good work in bringing justice to these women.
And doctor, that's exactly what I wanted to talk to you about. The notion that, as Ghislaine Maxwell, through her attorney, said, this is about men abusing women. And yet she said, again, through her attorney, I'm the only one in jail. But I argue there's a separate level in hell for female accomplices, because I think as women, we all know that feeling where when you see a woman, you have relief. You hear a noise behind you, you look behind, oh, it's a woman. Oh, thank goodness. Oh, you're on the subway. Oh, it's a woman. That relief, men will never understand. And for her to have utilized that and leveraged it and engaged in horrible convicted acts, to me, she is just as accountable. But to that point, now maybe we'll see some accountability for the men too.
Well, and in the deposition, they said that Ghislaine Maxwell referred to herself as the mother hen of all these little girls that were being trafficked. But I have to say, yes, the journalist played a really big part here. But this judge who is releasing this information, she is acting as a nonpartisan.
Okay, here's the bottom line. Here's the thing right here. So the depositions, here's the problem. Some of these people named in the depositions, okay, absolutely, they had something to do with these things. But this isn't a deposition from everyone that was victimized. This isn't all of the people that were involved in all of this stuff. So we need the list. And supermarket mogul, that's what they call him, a mogul. That's what I was trying to think of. And I think I called him Donald, but his name is in fact Ronald Burkle. Well, he absolutely knew what was going on, because at the end of the day, he was friends with Epstein. That's why his name was in the address book. But hold on. Epstein documents reveal billionaire grocery store magnate Ron Burkle had knowledge of the sex trafficking. Yeah, him and plenty of other people. Okay, so Ronald Burkle was a key fundraiser for Bill Clinton, and the pair traveled on Epstein's jet dubbed the Lolita Express. Now, we're going to talk about that in a minute, the Lolita Express. Let me make a note of that so I don't forget. And so court records released on Thursday evening say the 71-year-old businessman had knowledge of Epstein and his co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell's sexual trafficking conduct. The documents are from a defamation lawsuit that was filed against Maxwell, who procured young women for Epstein by his accuser, Virginia Giuffre. Burkle has not been charged, and that's the problem. Why hasn't he been? Why hasn't he been? At the end of the day, but let me continue. Burkle has not been charged in connection with the Epstein case, but his name has turned up in past court records. Now, Burkle's name was discovered in Epstein's Black Book. Remember, I told you all this. I showed you on the TikTok and on the regular video. Showing up in Epstein's Black Book and on Epstein's private log, a fact that became part of the public record after the convicted sex trafficker's first conviction in 2008 for soliciting prostitution from girls as young as 14. Burkle, along with former President Bill Clinton, took what were described as humanitarian trips to Africa on Epstein's private 727 jet. Remember, I told you all just this the other day about them going to Africa, acting like they're just going up there doing humanitarian work. Please make it all make sense. Were they doing the same kind of humanitarian work that the so-called missionary that knew Bill and Hillary Clinton was doing when she went to Haiti and tried to abduct 30 Haitian children? Do you all remember that? Because I reported on it for my day ones. You all remember that I told you all about that in 2020, I think it was, when the lady went over there as a missionary, so she claims, and supposed to be doing all this humanitarian work, friends with Bill and Hillary Clinton, went over there and was trying to sneak up out of Haiti with 30 kids. I think it was 33 to be exact, but she got caught and they arrested her. And then Bill and Hillary came to her rescue. Please pay attention. But let me continue. This is all so crazy. This is all so crazy, but let me go ahead. Now, goes on to say, Burkle and former President Bill Clinton took what they described as a humanitarian trips to Africa on Epstein's private 727 jet dubbed the Lolita Express. Burkle reportedly described Epstein as creepy following the trip. Oh, I'm sure he's creepy now that all this is coming out. Now, during Clinton's presidency, Burkle was a key Democratic fundraiser, and he once hired Clinton as an advisor to his private investment firm. So I found that interesting because, like I said, his name wasn't on the list. Yeah, his name was in court documents previously. It absolutely was. But why wasn't his name on that list? Now, let me just make sure that I didn't overlook him. Let me just make sure that I didn't overlook him, because I don't recall seeing his name on that list. And if his name had, in fact, because someone in the chat said his name was on the list. Well, if his name had been on this list that they put out, I think they would have said it when they named Bill Clinton and Trump and Michael Jackson and all those people. So let's look at this list again. Let's look at this list again, because they probably redacted his name, perhaps, because the list is definitely, it's not what it should be. We already know that. Okay, so there you have. Can you all see that? Okay, so let's read these names. Ghislaine Maxwell, Virginia Lee Roberts Giuffre, Kathy Alexander, Miles Alexander, James Michael Ostrich, Philip Barden, redacted, Kate Blanchett, David Boyce, Laura Booth, Evelyn Boulette, Rebecca Boylan, Joshua Bunner, Naomi Campbell, Carolyn Casey, Paul Cassell, Sharon Churcher, Bill Clinton, David Copperfield, Alexandria Cousteau, Cameron Diaz, Leonardo DiCaprio, Alan Dershowitz, Dr. Mona Devasian, redacted, Bradley Edwards, Amanda Ellison, Kimberly Espinoza, Jeffrey Epstein, Annie Farmer, Marie Farmer, Alexandra Fikai. And this is how you know, and I told you all this days ago, this is how you know this isn't the client list, because Jeffrey's name is on here too. Why would Jeffrey Epstein's name be on its own client list? This isn't the client list, and that's what we want. We didn't want just names that were in documents. We wanted the entire client list. That's what we were waiting on. But let me continue. Annie Farmer, Marie Farmer, Alexandra Fikai, Crystal Figuera, Anthony Figuera, Louis Freach, Eric Ganny, Meg Garvin, Sheridan Gibson Butts, Robert Giuffre, Al Gore, Ross Gow, Fred Graff, Philip Guderian, redacted, Shannon Harrison, Stephen Hawking, Victoria Hazel, Brittany Henderson, Brett Jaffe, Michael Jackson, Carol Roberts Kess, Dr. Karen Kudikoff, Peter Listerman, George Lucas, Tony Lyons, Bob Meister, Jamie A. Mallinson, Lynn Miller, Marvin Minsky, redacted, David Mullen, Joe Pagano, Mary Puluga, J. Stanley Pottinger, Joseph Ricari, Michael Ryder, Jason Richards, Bill Richards, Sky Roberts, Scott Rothstein, Forrest Sawyer, Doug Schutel, Kevin Spacey, Cecilia Stein, Mark Tafoya, Brent Tyndall, Kevin Thompson, Donald Trump, Ed Tuttle, Emma Vagon, Kimberly Vaughn Edwards, Crescenda Valdez, Anthony Valladares, Maritza Vasquez, Vicky Ward, Jared Weisfeld, Courtney Wild, Bruce Willis, Daniel Wilson, Andrew Albert, Christian Edwards, Duke of York. Now, like I said, that man's name, Ronald Burkle, his name was not on that list. And I would like to know why. Because he absolutely was in that black book. And I told you all that about a month ago. He was that man's friend. His name is in the black book. So it's not on this list. That's how you know it's not the list. It's not the client list, people. It's a whole scam. All right? It's a whole scam. That Crazy Beach Era said Bruce Willis doesn't remember his name. They have pictures of them on the yacht. It was several young girls with Meghan. Talk about Meghan Markle. This isn't the true list. We are not idiots. The truth will come out, says Michaela Love. Exactly. This is all BS. I want y'all to pay attention. Because for this man, Ronald Burkle, to be on the black, in his little black book, in the address book, and they're saying that, of course, he knew what was going on. Well, we know he knew. But so why isn't he on the list? So he knew about it but didn't participate? Is that what we're supposed to think? And for anyone who knew about what was going on with Jeffrey Epstein as far as this trafficking of these young girls, and they didn't turn them in, they didn't say anything, aren't they supposed to be facing charges for that? Shouldn't they be facing charges as well? I have a whole bunch of questions. Lawyer said, you mean to tell me Hunter Biden isn't listed? Exactly. Okay, make it all make sense. So like I told you all, this is all nefarious. At the end of the day, they're not doing anything but playing games. That's all they're doing. And you heard it here first. Remember, you heard it here first. So when you see Wig 2 try to copy, as she oft does, please pay attention. You already know that's exactly what she's doing. Okay. G from the Land said they're playing games clean. Yes. If you said that list doesn't mean that they are guilty. Well, here's the thing. No, this list, no, they already said this doesn't mean that they're guilty, beloved. They already said that these people have not been charged or suspected of doing anything guilty, that there's no proof. What I'm telling you is that's not the list, okay? That is not the client list. They're trying to do a switcheroo. They're trying to gaslight us and deflect. At the end of the day, what we were all waiting for was a client's list. What have I been telling you all for the past 2 years? I said if Epstein has been arrested and Ghislaine Maxwell has been arrested and they were sent to prison and found guilty of trafficking, who were they trafficking people to? Who were their clients? And how come none of their clients have been arrested? And how come we don't know the names of these people? Didn't I tell you all that 1,000 times in the past 2 years? So clearly, that's what I'm talking about. The client list, beloved. Okay, not just some list of people simply mentioned in depositions and in court filings. That's not what we were waiting on. We were waiting on that client list, and we don't have it. Nor shall we ever get it, as far as I'm concerned. Nor shall we ever get it, because this is what they want us to think. This is what they want to give us so that we'll all shut up. And they think we're sitting here waiting for the rest of the names to be released. I don't really care what other names are released unless they give us the real client list. You think they're going to give us the names of judges, politicians, big-time famous celebrities, and all of that who were actively participating in the trafficking, who could be on those videos that they confiscated, could be on the hard drive that were in the safe that was found at Epstein's house? You think they're going to give us that information? You think they're going to tell us who exactly Epstein was blackmailing and what he was using to do so? Those are the questions I want answers to, and so should you. Juju said, you told us over 1,000 times, Queen. Thank you, beloved. Okay? Because some people are just coming up out of the woodwork getting interested in this stuff and talking about it. I've been reporting on this stuff for at least 2 years. Okay? I've been talking about this for at least 2 years because it never made any sense to me that you got Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell and you convicted them. Who were they trafficking these people to? I told you all how Heidi Fleiss, when she was arrested, her client list was revealed. We knew who the clients were. How come we don't know who the clients are in this case? And they need to get over there to that island. And let me tell you all about Lolita Express. They need to get over there to that darn island and start digging up. Because I guarantee you there's some bones buried over there. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion. Listen to this. What was the name of Jeffrey Epstein's private jets that would take people to his island? It was called the Lolita Express. It was called the Lolita Express. Do you know why it was called that? Well, I'm so glad you asked. Because it came from a movie that was precociously seductive. Lolita is an English language term defining a young girl as precociously seductive. It originates from Vladimir Nabokov's 1955 novel Lolita, which portrays the narrator Hubert's sexual obsession with and victimization of a 12-year-old girl whom he privately calls Lolita. That's why it was called that. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say a movie, I meant a book. So that's why he called it the Lolita Express. And anyone who got on that jet and flew to that island, I'm willing to bet money that they knew exactly why it was called that, and they knew exactly what was going on at that island. And then we have Bill Clinton saying, well, he didn't know anything about what was going on over there. Of course, they're all going to say that now. They're all going to say that. Anybody whose name was in the documents, they're going to say, well, I didn't know anything about what he was doing. I just wish I'd never met him. Alan Dershowitz, I didn't know anything about what's going on. You mean he was doing that kind of stuff? I never knew. Please. Of course they're going to deny it. Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? Reggie said it's all nefarious. Yes, it absolutely is. I just want y'all to pay attention. Okay? I just want y'all to pay attention. This is all sick. Yeah. He called it the Lolita Express for a reason. Precocious, seductive. A 12-year-old victim and a grown man had a sexual obsession with her. Well, he was speaking about himself. Jeffrey Epstein, that's who. Desi Des said, lying their faces off. Yes. This is all so crazy. Now, you all be sure to hit that like button. There's 723 people in the chat. Please hit the like button, like and share this video, okay? Make sure you like and share this video. Thank you, beloveds. All right, everyone, enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always remember, beloveds, to keep the Most High first in your lives. Oh, God said this list is meant to give the real people. Hold on. Why is this moving so fast? Hold on, I'm trying to find that comment. This list is meant to give the real people involved and out. Of course. Exactly. Now you got it. Okay? So with that all being said, I will talk to you all again soon, beloveds. Enjoy the rest of your day. Don't forget to keep the Most High first in your lives. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunsa. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now.
That's
See
right.
a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy.
Real slick.
I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen, why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got